Welcome to Southern Orthopedic Prep Zone Wrap-Up, driven by Carl Cannon.
Hey guys, welcome in. James Phillips and Brian Hale. It is DME Prep Zone Wrap-Up for week 10 now. Man, Brian, we've just flown through the season.
And luckily we've gotten the season.
Yeah, like we came into it thinking, would we get 1 or 2 weeks? And now we're staring at the last week of the regular season next week. And then we've got a few teams, not many, that are going to be playoff bound.
Yep.
We can kind of talk about that as we go through tonight, who may be in, may be out, and that good stuff. First, let's talk about some games that did not get played tonight. Oakman picks up a forfeit win over Tarrant.
And that's happened all season long.
Right. Tarrant dropped their team. That was not COVID related. They just did not have enough players. Curry forfeit due to COVID to Gordo, which Gordo would have probably beat Curry anyway.
Yeah.
Carbon Hill forfeit to Winfield, another one that probably would have been decided anyway. Dora and Etowah would have been a very interesting game.
It would have been.
Dora would have been traveling to Etowah, but they had to forfeit due to COVID. So we had 4 teams not playing this week. Let's go to what was probably the best game of the week. Winston County loses to Aliceville 39-38, but man, the Yellow Jackets tried to stay in that one. Yeah,
one time I checked in and it was 12-12. So apparently that was a barn burn. But one from Jonathan Bentley told me Winston County went for a 2-point conversion, and what did they do? They passed.
Right.
Now you pass.
Right.
Now you pass.
Well, I guess they thought they'd catch people sleeping.
Should have tried that other times.
Right, right. But 39-38, Winston County falls. They're probably going to be the 3rd team in that region now.
Well, from what I understand, it's Aliceville, Addison, and then Winston County.
Right. So, speaking of Addison, Addison laid it on Sulligent 49-0 tonight. They had some lightning delays, but easy win for the Bulldogs.
Not surprising. Hey, I know where I'm going in my first week.
Yep, you're probably going to Addison.
Up to Addison.
That's right. Yep. Hey, 2 games that kind of snuck up on us. They were Thursday night.
And we didn't have nobody told us.
Yeah, no notification. Thanks, coaches.
Yeah.
You know, every now and then, if you want us to show up at the game, it'd be good to know when you're playing.
Yeah, got to communicate.
Hubbardville beat Lynn 27-21. Good showing by the Bears there. And then Corner, really good showing, but falls short to Center Point on the road, 46-43.
And unfortunately, that one there takes Corner completely out of the playoff picture.
Oh,
if they could have gotten that, they could have backed their way into it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you fall that close, and so you fall out of the playoff race.
But the Yellow Jackets with a pretty decent season, considering all things, with their coach leaving just before the season and going through some injuries early. Corners played well this year.
Yeah, they have.
Okay, here was a blowout. Fairfield 47, Cordova nothing.
And I thought last week was a tough one.
Right.
Well, there is one final game for Cordova. It's a rivalry game too, so at the very least, they still have that chance to kind of give themselves a pole vault.
Right, but they're playing the Oakman Wildcats. I mean, that's going to be a tough game for Cordova. But I was talking to our producer Jeffrey Winborn before we went on the air and was telling him about how that rivalry. It seems like a lot of times the team that you don't think is going to win ends up winning that one.
Yeah, it's happened a lot, and of course, here is one thing: Oakman had the week off.
That's true.
So yeah, they're going to be a little bit more rested.
All right, another Winston County school, Meek, who's been playing much better. But they ran up against a juggernaut tonight in Berry. Berry wins 43-6.
Now, we'll have something interesting in just a few moments. So we're not going to move away from this game just yet, but Berry's been a juggernaut this year. They've nearly been completely and totally unstoppable. So it's almost par for the course, but hey, good news for me. They still have the Lynn victory that shows that, hey, what they're capable of.
Right. And Meek has played better in the second half of the season, much better.
Southern Orthopedic Prep Zone Wrap-Up, driven by Carl Cannon. Presented by Kilgore Green Funeral Home, Nelson, Bryan, and Cross. Bank of Walker County. Jasper Main Street. Southern Orthopedic. And Carl Cannon.
Okay, let's see. We only got 2 more games. Jasper hosting Pinson Valley. I was at that game, and the Vikings, they fall behind 41-7 at halftime. But then they come out in the second half and they score some points. They're able to cut it to it was 48-33 at one point, but fall short 55-33 against the number 3 team in the state, who has the number 1 player in the state, a guy they call Kool-Aid. Kind of had an attitude problem. I wasn't very impressed by Kool-Aid. He scored 1 touchdown, got a flag thrown on him. He was talking trash the whole night. You know, when you're up 41-7, not a whole lot of trash talking needs to be done. I honestly hope he does not pick Alabama later today. He's doing his commitment. It's either Alabama, LSU, or Auburn. I don't want him in Alabama. Go to LSU.
With the way that LSU is playing right now, they need all the help that they can get.
Right, yeah. So, Jasper, though, played well in the second half. Spencer Rosenfeld threw for over 200-something yards. Had the first 2 passing touchdowns of the year for Jasper tonight.
Excellent, excellent.
So that shows they're moving in the right direction. Brian, you were at the Sumiton Christian game, our game of the week. Sumiton Christian and Valley Head. We had hoped it would be a close-fought game, but Valley Head just way too much for the Eagles tonight.
Well, it was a good first half. I will say that. Valley Head came out and they scored, also scored really early in the second quarter. And then Sumiton Christian comes out and scores. At that point, it's 14-6. And Valley Head had come out and they added another one by halftime. But at that point, we'd looked and there was opportunities that Sumiton Christian had where at halftime, that game could have easily, there was a drop pass close to the end zone. I want to say that there was a tip ball that the wide receiver had juggled it, and the juggle actually went to the Valley Head player.
Right.
Had to pull that in, and they were getting close to scoring at the 5. So in all reality, this game should have been like maybe a 1-point game, something like 20-21 at halftime. Valley Head, something like that.
Right.
Second half was all Valley Head. I mean, the Sumiton Christian, they moved the ball in spurts, but they just couldn't get it. Valley Head rushed for 464 yards. I mean, it was just, Sumiton Christian, they just couldn't contain the outside run, and it showed up. The best thing that you can really take out of this is Sumiton Christian, no matter what, and they did have some good interceptions tonight. The pass defense for Sumiton Christian still seems to be really tough.
Right.
But, hey, look, they are into the playoffs no matter what. They're the 4th place team. Don't have to go that far. They go to Berry.
Okay.
Who played Meek tonight.
Yeah.
Interesting thing, guess who Sumiton Christian plays next week?
Meek. So we'll kind of see a measuring stick there.
That's going to be a little bit of a preview. We'll see how that stacks up. We'll see the kind of adjustments that maybe Sumiton Christian makes before the Meek game. So a couple of housekeeping notes though. First off, thoughts and prayers big time go out to Griffin Meyer, who's a stellar part of that Sumiton Christian pass defense. As you recall, 2 weeks ago, he made 2 interceptions against Appalachian. One of them that was returned back for pick 6.
Right.
And had a number of tackles. He was in on some plays tonight. Left late in the game, really favoring the leg. We hope that everything's okay. Maybe it was just a sprained ankle,
right.
Something that maybe he can get back before the playoffs. But thoughts and prayers with him. Oh, and I once again have to send out another shout out to the Sumiton Christian Quarterback Club, the Booster Club. They did it again. outdid themselves. Even Jeffrey Winborn got in on the action.
Really? He got some of the free food and stuff?
Oh, yeah. He dug into those wings, which had absolutely a wonderful flavor to it. So, SC Quarterback Club, Booster Club, the Washingtons, absolutely love you. You're doing it right.
Well, also, SC Quarterback Club, don't forget who the East Walker County guy is at the Daily Mountain Eagle. If you ever want to just slide some wings to the Eagle office, I'd be happy to take those as well.
He has the Golden Viking room.
That's
every
true. I
week.
do get to. And you know what they had tonight?
What?
Chick-fil-A. It's only been open for one night. They had Chick-fil-A.
What's wrong with that?
It was great.
I know. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. But, hey, if it was up to me, I'd cover Sumiton Christian games every week. Now, they probably wouldn't let me, but...
You're just wanting free food at this point.
Of course!
Okay, well, anybody else that wants to get free food, it'll probably get Brian to your game, and it might get me. Jasper's not going to have a playoff game, so I'll be looking for a place to go. So
Yeah.
If anybody wants to call in, let me know what your menu's going to look like. That may be how we decide who we cover.
We're getting into Rick and Bubba territory.
Yeah, I know. Don't mention. We're much better looking and much funnier than they are. Anyway, okay. Playoff teams. Sumiton Christian is in the playoffs. Dora is in the playoffs.
Addison is homebound in the playoffs. They will
Addison's
be
at home.
hosting.
Winston County's in the playoffs. Is that it? Oakman's in the playoffs.
Oakman's in the playoffs.
They'll have to travel though. They're
They'll
going to be
have
number 3.
to travel.
So we've got 5. Is that all?
I'm afraid it is, yeah. We were hoping for corner,
Right.
and they come up that short.
And only 1 hosting.
Yeah.
But we've got teams with experience of going on the road and upsetting people. So it would be fun to see Sumiton Christian go on the road. I got a good buddy that loves Barry. His name's Lance Gardner. He watches all these shows. He's been, all year. We don't cover Barry. Well, Barry's not in our coverage area.
No, it's in Fayette County. We don't have that coverage.
We don't cover Barry. But I love Barry. It's a great area. I go through there. I used to go through there quite often, going back to Mississippi when I lived there. But I hope Sumiton Christian goes over there and just whips Barry.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's for you, Lance.
Hey, if they do that, guess what? For the second round, Sumiton Christian might be home.
They'll be at home, yeah, then both of us go eat. Dora will be on the road. They're going to be a 4 seed.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough draw.
It will be.
But hopefully they can go. And Oakman is used to be in that 3 seed.
Yeah.
And half the time they end up traveling, 3 or 4 hours away to play and pick up wins.
Well, and you also have to think, Oakman is probably 2 plays away from being the region champion.
Oh, they are, definitely, yeah.
I mean, the Winfield and Vinemont, both that close.
Yeah, both close games. And then Winston County and Addison. Winston County could upset somebody as a 3 seed. They're playing really well. I'm very impressed with what Coach Mitchell has done there this year. And Addison, they're just Addison like they always are. They just kind of roll along. So we'll see how that goes. Brian, anything else before we go? Oh, Alabama's playing Tennessee. That's right.
Those rank stank Vols. The Vials.
They're low down, cheaters,
Snitches.
whatever. I can't stand them.
My second most hated team. I hate it.
I've got a cigar ready for tomorrow night.
Hey, I am looking forward to cigars next week.
Yeah.
I think we've got to do it again. If Alabama wins, I think next week we go up to cigar box again and have the cigars for wrap up.
That'd be a good idea. I think that is a good idea. I'm going to go to Cigar Box tomorrow. They haven't even paid for this advertising, but the Cigar Box is an incredible place in Jasper. If you've not been there, go visit Cigar Box. Tell Sean that James sent you. James from the DMA sent you. Sean loves the stuff we do with the PrepZone stuff, and he's a big fan of our New Era Wrestling that I put on. But Cigar Box is a great place. I go there half the time to get my hair cut. They've got a barber in the back. People don't know that.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And really. Travis is the barber, and he does an outstanding job.
He does.
And if you don't know anything about cigars, that's fine. Go in, they'll teach you things. I knew nothing about cigars. I still don't know much, but they tell me what a wimp like me should smoke. And that's what I do.
And even if you don't like it, take somebody with you that's going to buy something and just walk in there and just enlighten the smells.
Right, enjoy the smell because it does smell great in there.
It smells wonderful.
Yeah, so go see Sean and Patty at the Cigar Box. And tell them that James and Brian sent you over there. They may give us a free cigar or something next time we come in.
That'd be awesome.
Well, Brian, let's roll for the Tide here. We need them to win. Let's pull against the teams that we hate.
Well, my chief one is still out with COVID.
Right. Tennessee is going to be one of the tops on the list. Let's hope Notre Dame loses. Let's just throw that in there.
Let's hope the Big Ten teams are playing each other.
That's right.
I'm going to be a Nebraska fan.
I'd love to see Nebraska beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
I don't know if LSU is playing again this week, but just
they are. They're playing South Carolina.
Okay, let's hope South Carolina beats LSU for Jeffrey. Who's Auburn playing?
They are playing Ole Miss. And
that's going to be a good game.
This is interesting because I almost think to myself, if Ole Miss quarterback, if he just throws maybe one interception this week, this is going to be dire for Auburn because Auburn's defense is kind of like, and we know they're not executing at all on offense.
Well, and honestly, now Auburn fans would never say this. They're going to pull for their team to win.
Of course.
But people like you and I, who see it from a different perspective, let's just pull for Auburn to lose, so then they make fire Gus. I mean, Alabama fans really should hope for Gus to stay. I know he's beat us a couple times, but Gus is awful. So let's just hope that Auburn loses, and then they'll go ahead and pull the trigger on Gus, and the Gus bus will be gone, and then they can go on and hire somebody that's a decent coach.
Well, I mean, I don't want to see Auburn do bad, but the thing about it is that I'm looking at it, Gus is a one-track pony. He's still running the same offense that he ran back in 2009.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody sees it's coming. He can't recruit.
I hate to tell you this, Brian. Gus is not a pony. Gus is a jack.
Okay. Well, he's a one-trick jack then.
There you go.
But one way or the other, the Auburn Nation is not happy with this right now.
Yeah.
And forget about a buyout. Look, if Gus is on the sidelines next year after this dumpster fire season, I'm going to tell you the fans are going to make that buyout look a lot worse when they cut back on the merchandise, the attendance, the booster sponsorship.
Yeah.
I can go ahead and tell you they'll vote with their pocketbooks, and it's going to be a lot worse than loss from a buyout.
All right. Well, Brian, let me just say go Eagles. Go Bulldogs for my East Walker teams. I'm glad that they're back and in the playoffs this year. It makes me feel good when the East Walker teams are doing well.
Absolutely.
And go Vikes. I got a senior on the team. It's been a tough year for Jasper, but
they'll take care of business next week.
I think so.
Absolutely.
All right. For Brian Hale, I'm James Phillips. We'll see you next week for DME Prep Zone Game Time. See you then.